Hey guys, Shadow Reviewer here. Well, today, Final Destination Bloodlines is now in theaters. To celebrate that event and the 25-year anniversary, I like to take a look at the 5 films that came before this new one, the Final Destination franchise. Now, these movies have made people so paranoid that anything normal in their lives instantly just becomes, well, a death trap. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to be ranking the 5 films and ranking them from worst to best. So a couple of things here. Firstly, this list is my opinion. If your favorite film's the worst or the worst film is the best, let me know down in the comments below. Secondly, I'm gonna delve deep into the plots, so spoiler alerts if you haven't seen any of these movies. And thirdly, and I say this for my channel, I am hating on the characters, not the actors. So if I am talking about a character, I will say nothing against the actor. I'm sure he or she tried with the material they were given. I just don't like the character they play. So keep that in mind, okay? So without further ado, let's get on with it. And what I consider the worst film in this franchise is The Final Destination from 2009. Many people consider this the worst one, and it's not hard to see why. It's okay, so the film has been pretty much pressured into the ground, and the 4th time is definitely not the charm. Okay, yes, there has been 5, but 5 is a little different. The 4th film, on the other hand, it's awful. I mean, for one, while the premonition itself isn't done badly, the 3D effects are just awful. Thank God the next film actually did it better, but man, it's pretty much just things flying at you and like, whoa, 3D, whoa, holy crap. Oh, and these are honestly the worst written characters that I've ever seen. And the worst of them is Hunt. He is nothing but a frat party bro, and he just annoys me. Honestly, even the other characters, Laurie, Janet, they're just bland female chick that either they're to raise up the body count or just to be an annoyance. Oh yeah, and there's let's not say there's a very disgusting character named Carter. Yeah, Carter Daniels, and he's pretty nasty towards the security guard, who should have been the main character. I mean, you give George a backstory, and he's the only one that I sympathize with. Honestly, he should have been the main character. At least you give him an arc. And yeah, Nick is probably my least favorite main character in this series. While the other ones have been passable to among the best, Nick is not exactly the greatest. Oh, and the executions here are among stupidly horrible. Well, actually, except for one. And thank God it's given to the worst character. I like the setup. It's disturbing and brings on the psychological trauma. I never want to go into a swimming pool ever again. So to summarize, the Final Destination. God, that's dumb. Seriously, why didn't they just call this Final Destination 4? I mean, the next film is literally called Final Destination 5, so why the hell isn't this called Part 4? I don't know. It is honestly the worst film in the series, and I don't think it's gonna get any worse, but yeah, this one's the worst. Just terrible. Number 4, Final Destination 3 from 2006. Now, I will say this one is slightly better than The Final Destination, but it still shares the same problem with Part 4, the characters. Albeit except for one, but the rest of them are just annoying. You got your two annoying, frat chicks, Ashlyn and Ashlyn. Yep, they're pronounced the same but spelled differently. You got your goth couple, and you got your jock, who is by far the most annoying. Oh, and you got your pervert, Frankie. Yeah, these are some of the most annoying characters. Oh yeah, and the next film is awful, but it's the downgrade of annoyance. Particularly Lewis. Now, nothing against Texas Battle. That is a badass name. Very cool. But Lewis is aggravating. It just annoys me. And again, the goth couple does nothing for me, particularly Anne. Frankie is pretty much a pervert. And boy, he makes things so much worse. But the one character that I think does better is the main character herself, Wendy. Played to mere perfection by Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who is just pretty underrated as an actress. I mean, she's done a ton of horror films, and this is among one of her famous. And she does actually make the character compelling. I like that she is the main character, and she acts the hell out of it, even to the very end. And this has to be among the famous execution ever. You got the nail gun scene, and the most famous, the double tanning bed scene. Honestly, it never makes me want to go to a tanning bed, ever. Thank God I don't anyways. But still, you gotta feel bad. But still, the way it's done, it's psychologically terrifying. But overall, it still shares the same problems with Part 4. It is down annoying characters, but it is slightly better. And I'll say it, I never want to ride a roller coaster ever again after seeing this flick. But then again, I went to Luna Park before I saw this film, but I never want to go on a roller coaster again anyways. It gets me shudder vibes. But yeah, better than The Final Destination, but not by much. Well, at least it's got a really good main character. Number 3, Final Destination from 2000. Now, it is kind of blasphemous that the original is only in the middle. And well, it's a 50-50 movie. Half of it is great, half of it is eh. Okay, so Devon Sawa does great as Alex. I like Ellie Lauder as Clear Rivers, and Walker Smith is fine as Carter. The rest of the characters are fine. I mean, the acting is kind of off at times. I mean, it feels very 90s acting. Now, yes, this is just the turn of the millennium, I get that, but I just wish the acting was a little more solid. Thankfully, the next two films do surprisingly better. Okay, the next two entries do surprisingly better. And the plane sequence has got to be one of the most terrifying premonition scenes that I've ever seen. And yes, I've been on a ton of planes after this movie, but every time I go on a plane, I picture the opening scene from Final Destination, and it freaks me out so much. That's how you leave an impact on your audience, by making them paranoid about air travel. And yes, it does lead to, it has pretty few executions as well. Todd Browning's was fine, but the one most infamous is Carter's girlfriend. I forgot her name. Terry. Terry's was very, very memorable. And while Miss Loon's one was over the top, it is still unnerving at times. So yeah, the three main leads are pretty good. And it's not surprisingly graphic, but it's still up there at least. So yeah, it's a good enough movie. I just wish the acting was a little more solid. It was kind of weird acting. Except Curtis Smith, Eiley Lauder, and especially Devon Sawa. But it's a surprisingly good movie. Straight in the middle, but pretty good. Number 2, Final Destination 5 from 2011. Okay, so this and the next movie has two great things going for it. Characters and the tone. Pretty much these two films are pretty much neck and neck in terms of great installments in the series. And it's hard to tell which one I consider, but unlike The Next Century, Final Destination 5 has just... Honestly, both of these movies just go hand in hand. Except for, Actually, no, there's nothing I've got here. These two movies are just so perfect in hand. Honestly, the opening sequence to this movie is very well done. It makes me never want to go on a preacher camp as well. And Sam is a decent lead. Actually, that's the one thing. The protagonist in The Next Century is my favorite protagonist in the series. Sam is my second favorite. You'll know who my number one is. Sam, yes, is a great protagonist. I like Molly. She's a great final girl. And while he's a bit kooky, Peter's fine. I wish the other characters could have been fleshed out, but at least they got good executions. Olivia's eye surgery was unnerving as hell. We all know about Candace's, the gem exit flip of doom. Wow. Man, that was unnerving. And brutal. And again, it is surprisingly graphic. I mean, it's the second most graphic Final Destination movie I've seen. Oh, and I love the twist at the end, that being that this is actually a prequel to the first film. So by technical standards, this is actually the first film in the series, not the original. And honestly, I just love it. It's just fantastic. It's a great movie, and I love its twists and turns. And I like the concept of if you get rid of somebody else, they have your turn, and you're you're off the list. That's a really cool idea. So yeah, Final Destination 5, it's a great installment. But there is one that I consider my absolute favorite. But honestly, this movie and the next one are just work so well in hand. My number one my favorite Final Destination movie is Final Destination 2 from 2003. Alright, so what really makes this my personal favorite is the main character herself, Kimberly, played by AJ Cook. The concept of new life can disrupt death. And number 3, it has possibly one of the most disturbing, unnerving, and beautifully choreographed premonition scenes in the franchise. I mean, talk about setting the tone. Wow. And again, Kimberly is a great protagonist. She's my favorite protagonist in this series. I mean, the way she pretty much does everything to defeat death is fantastic. And I even like some of the side characters. And while Eugene is kind of kooky at times, he's still fun. I like Nora and her son Tim. While Nora is the most likable of the two, Tim is just being your average teenager. You kind of feel bad for Nora, particularly during the lift scene. Wow, that was... ugh. While Rory is the typical stoner, at least he has a good execution scene. Wow. And I love that Clea is the only one from the first film to come back. And she does help until unfortunately she's taken out of the franchise. I feel bad, but again, Ellie Lotter does great with what she's given. And Thomas Burke is a pretty good secondary protagonist. True, yeah, he's a stupid cop, but he's still supportive enough. And it has probably my favorite scene with William Bloodworth, played by the late Tony Todd. While in the first film he's iconic, the fifth one he's good. My favorite is he has my favorite part in this movie. The way he appears from the smoke, beautiful shot. Oh, and it has pretty memorable executions too. Like the first guy as well. Well done. To Rory's, which, wow. Talk about very disassembling. To Kimberly sacrificing herself to try and stop the list. So yeah, everything in Final Destination 2 is great. And I consider it my #1 favorite Final Destination film to date. Let us hope the new one lives up to the hype. It might change my mind, but who knows? We'll have to see. So that's my ranking of the Final Destination movies from worst to best. I hope you liked this video. Give me a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Tomorrow I'll be back on the Avatar train with Book 2, Chapter 6, The Blind Bandit. And for some of you ask, yes, I will be seeing Final Destination Bloodlines on Saturday, May 17th. So, tune in for that. Because I'm a very paranoid person, and I don't know how I'm going to cope for a while. So, hopefully I can get sleep after watching the movie. Until then, I'm the Shadow Reviewer, signing off.